Hey, my name's Ash from Discover Play Therapy and Counselling Services, and I just wanted to flag something or share a bit of information about how to choose the right therapist. It's something that comes across quite a lot, and I find that when people are coming and saying, "Hey, I think I need therapy. What does it actually look like? How do I know what therapist I need? What do I need to go through?" So I just want to share some of the information with you. So as you can see here, there's a range of different things. We see people might say, "Hey, I think I need therapy." So some of the things that come up are things like if you're having a behavior or you're noticing that you're doing something that really messes up your day. You might respond in a particular way. You might look at something and have a somatic experience. It's something around that that doesn't feel so good. So that's something that we could have a look into. You're not happy with these circumstances. So when you think about either family, friendships, relationships, any of those kind of family systems where you're wondering, hey, I don't really like how this is playing out. Maybe I want to do something a little bit different. You might have repeated patterns. So you ever hear those stories where people in a relationship and this person, it might be a really good friend of yours, and they continue to have the same kind of relationships in their life. So when they're having repeated patterns, they're doing the same thing over and over again, and then they start to wonder, why are things not being different for me? Anxious or depressed. This is very common, I guess, what we're seeing in today's day and age, where there's a lot of anxiousness about the future or depressed about the past. Something that about them is sitting really strongly that they can't quite move. Feeling directionless or feeling like there's no purpose. So that's when we're starting to think of, what does the future look like? The future seems bleak. What if I don't have a future? So being unable to kind of think ahead and wonder where they're actually going. Feeling out of control. So that's that feeling of overwhelm. Everything is happening all the time, and we're just trying to slow it all down, but being unable to. And the last one is being disconnected. So feeling that you're very isolated, very alone. Now, obviously, this isn't an extensive list. There can be a range of different things, but these are just some examples of the kind of therapy or the kind of things that people might come to therapy for. What kind of therapy do I need? Well, there is an absolute range of different kind of therapies done by different practitioners in different ways. On the screen is a couple of examples. So obviously you've got your person-centered counseling, which is very much around being almost like that soundboard to help you understand and reflect upon what it means for you to be in the world. Solution focus is a little bit more social worky, and what I mean by that is they're very goal focused, very much around future planning, very much around if you come with a specific problem, how do we get you to a solution that's going to work for you, and then road mapping that out. Grief counselling, so for grief and loss, moving through the loss of family members, pets, relationships. Narrative therapy, putting a bit of a story around what has actually happened. Existential therapy, it's a therapy which is exactly that. What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to be in the world? What does it mean to be a part of the world? You've got EMDR therapy, so eye movement desensitization reprocessing. Very good for trauma work. So when you've got something that is kind of stuck in as a somatic experience, you might come across EMDR or heard of EMDR when we're talking about PTSD. Dialectical Behavior Therapy. So very focused on skills training, being able to have a range of different skills or tools in the toolkit to be able to manage in stressful situations and bring yourself back down to what they call regulation. Cognitive behavioral therapy, you'll see a lot of psychologists do this one. It's basically the connection between the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions. So another thing that comes across is, what do I actually tell my therapist? Well, you can tell them anything you like. The therapist is there for you. Some of the things that I would invite people to say, or where I kind of have conversations about, is why now? What is happening in your world, in your experience, that you've decided right at this moment is the time that you've decided to reach out and do something different? And that's a great starting point to see what the catalyst has been that created some awareness that something needs to be different. If there's anything that's causing disturbances or disruptions in your life, again, that's around the relationships, anything that your behaviors, that kind of stuff. And if you could choose anything or choose your life to look any particular way, what would you want that to look like? What is your view and idea and your vision around I want it to look a particular way. How do I do that? So what does your therapist need? Well, the therapist needs a range of different things. The first one is to be caring and empathetic. You want your therapist to actually care about you. They're not there just for a paycheck. They're not there just because you're filling in time. They're there for you. When you speak to them, you can feel that. You can feel that connection and care. They're genuinely interested and curious. They want to be there to help you. They want to be there to be a part of your journey, because as a therapist, what I can say from my experience is it's actually a very big honor to be a part of someone's journey. And so for them to say, hey, I want to reach out and support, and then for you as a client to be able to come and say, yep, I want to work with you, that's a huge honor. We get to be a part of someone's world and all the intricacies of it. So for them to be able to really feel that, to be really predictable and consistent. So what that means is a session's pretty consistent. If they're not going to be there, is there a reason why? Are they really sick? Do they communicate that to you? Are they generally pretty consistent about their timing? So same session, same time, that kind of stuff. And you feel safe when you speak to them. You want to be in relationship with this person, and relationships require safety. So it's important to be able to have that. Another thing I also get asked is, what can I actually ask my therapist? And the answer is very simple. You can ask them absolutely anything. Obviously, some of the good questions that I would recommend if you're looking for a therapist is how long they've been practicing for, where have they worked, who are they accredited with. So obviously there's a lot of different accrediting agencies, but that'll tell you about how long they've been practicing for, what level they sit at, that kind of stuff. It tells you who their governing body is. What happens if you don't like them? So what I say with clients that I work with is, if I say something and we're in a relationship in some capacity and you don't like what I've said, tell me. There's something about that that's going to be really important. And the more I know, the better I can support you. So that's something I would really invite is to really look at, is to ask them, what happens if we have conflict? Like, can I openly have conflict with you? Absolutely. For me as a therapist, absolutely, I invite it. What I would say is that there's something around that that's important. It tells me about your values and beliefs. There's something around the intricacy and the implicit nature of that context. We need to explore that. Ask your therapist if, and that comes down to this next one where you're really asking, can you challenge them? Hey, actually, I don't agree with that. Absolutely, tell me more. Tell me what it is about that you don't agree with. Because in all of these tells you more about the person's world. You know? Just a side note there, there may be certain things that obviously most therapists will turn around and say, actually, I don't really want to talk about that. Obviously, if you're asking about their kids, you're asking about their hobbies and interests, where they live, a lot of personal matters, some therapists will be very guarded against that, and that's due to accreditation and due to their comfortability. Some therapists will quite happily say, hey, actually, I can't see you today. I need to cancel my sessions because my child is sick. It's not saying, yeah, my child's name is this, and they go to this school, and blah, 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 and makes it about them. But it does let you know, obviously, a little bit about them and the circumstances. So just bear that in mind when you're looking for a therapist. And that's all, really. I'm going to move myself up here. So other than that, that's it. That's just a couple of key points that you can ask about whether you need therapy and how to find the right therapist for you. It gives you an idea of some different modalities, some of the things you can ask any therapist, and what it means for you, to come in with. If you're coming into therapy going, I don't know if I need therapy, I would truly invite you to ask yourself some of these questions on, do I have disturbances, relationship challenges, really back those first slides and go back and have a look and say, hey, which of these can I ask myself to see if it's something that I actually need? Is it something I want? What is it about? If you're looking to learn a little bit more or you want to do any work with me, you can find me at discoverplaytherapy.com.au. It's my website. Or you can email me at ashley@discoverplaytherapy.com.au. I'm always open to seeing new people, and sometimes it's just a 15-minute consult, which is fine. So feel free to reach out if you need it. If not, I will see you in the next videos when I start seeing really interesting content or really common questions that I get. Catch you later.